DAO Watch, episode 17. This one is called Redemption with Benefits. Our special guest DAO for this episode is Friends with Benefits, which is a artist and creators cabal, maybe. They all support each other and meet with each other and all that kind of stuff. And they've got a token and a DAO and a treasury. So that's really interesting. The redemptions part is all about the people, the projects, and the proposers who have redeemed themselves in this episode. A lot of people who I've been critical of, projects which I've been critical of, factors which I've been critical of, seem to have managed to pull themselves out of the quagmire, as it were. So, usual suspects: Dash, Pivx, and we've even got Evmos on this episode. They were looking shaky, but they've pulled something out of the hat and subsequently tossed it in the bin. But to find out more about that, keep watching DAO Watch, episode 17.
Hello, welcome to DAO Watch episode 17. I am your handsome host, Cryptosi. Do need a bit of a shave, but let's not worry about that. Let's get it cracking. Okay, so this episode, my special guest will be Friends with Benefits. I've not actually covered this DAO before, but it's one that you should all know. It's a DAO that basically exists to connect people. So it's a social network. You buy the tokens, the tokens allow you to join in this group. They've got their own treasury, they put on their own events, you can get involved in their governance, and that's exactly what we are going to do today. But as usual, we're going to cover the usual suspects, which are Dash, Pivx, and Evmos. We did say we was going to swap Evmos out, but I found a proposal. There is actually a proposal on Evmos. It's the only one. There's only one, but it's a good one. I think we're going to do 3 more episodes in this format, and then we'll probably change it so that we have less proposals, and I add a little news section because there's a lot of news going on. There was the judge's ruling on the Uki DAO case. There's stuff going on in Cosmos where Stride is becoming a Cosmos. There's lots of news, basically. I'm not going to go through it all now because we simply don't have time. But by episode 20, I'm going to change the format, and we're going to have maybe 1 or 2 proposals plus news. So maybe one of the regular suspects, 1 guest, plus news. That'll be the show. That's how it will stay. If you like that suggestion, comment below. If you've got a better idea, comment below. Just want to say hi, comment below. Anything you want to do, comment it. Just comment. I want more comments. Okay, so let's get started with Dash. In this particular proposal, the proposer is proposing that they revert CoinJoin to private send. Now, there's a one-time payment of 1 Dash. Now, what does this mean? Revert CoinJoin to private send is basically to change the branding so that CoinJoin, as it's known now, goes back to being called private send. The reason why, the link obviously, as usual, is in the description, but the reason why is because the proposer alleges that changing to CoinJoin has not actually helped Dash. It was done as a knee-jerk reaction by the head honcho at the time, Ryan Taylor, who was called Baby Giraffe, and instead of changing the name and having a softer stance on privacy, which Dash definitely did. If you disagree with me, you can comment below, but I would definitely say Dash decided they didn't really want privacy. And he unilaterally made the decision and then told everybody this is the decision. Things did not work out as planned. Instead, they ended up still getting delisted from Bittrex, but then they got relisted afterwards, and they got delisted from South Korea. I guess that's from a few big exchanges in South Korea, and now Binance will forbid trade in Dash in a few EU countries. So what the guy's saying is basically they changed the name to hide from privacy, and they stopped thoroughly chasing privacy, and it didn't stop the regulators from classing them as a privacy coin. It didn't stop people from preempting that Dash would be a privacy coin, as it was one of the first ones, and Dash got sanctioned anyway. So what he's saying is that if you vote yes to this proposal, what you're saying is that privacy is a fundamental human right. This is actually the first line from the Pivx manifesto, and it seems to be catching on now. I felt like I made that up. Honestly, I feel like I made that up. I probably heard it somewhere else as well. We went back and forth about whether or not to have the word human in there. I don't like it. I don't like the word human in there because it makes it sound like a legal thing, and I think it transcends law. So forget your laws. We're going to have our privacy anyway. Anyway, vote yes to restore private send branding and get us back on track. Okay, sounds good. A mere 7 years later, fair enough. He goes on to say about if you Google search, you'll get the SEO, and there's still lots of SEO. Prototype mixing feature is already in mobile wallets. All you have to do is bring this feature into the release. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, for me, I would say there's some quite obvious pros and cons. The main pro is like, yes, Dash, well done. Like, you put your big boy pants on for once in your life. I've heard the guy who does the Dash incubator, and even the other guy, the Desert Links, I forget the Dash incubator guy's name now, Rion? Yeah, I think his name's Rion, or Ryan. Anyway, I've heard him talk about where can Dash go from here as far as privacy is concerned. It does seem like they really are, as a community, quite interested in getting back to those roots. At the moment, it's looking like it's going to pass. There's quite a lot of votes for yes. He did also say that when the change was made, he did get them to parameterize the code so that it's easier to change back later. So you just have to change the string CoinJoin name equals CoinJoin. So you could change the CoinJoin name from CoinJoin to private send. CoinJoin is the name of the technology anyway, so calling it by its technology name or calling it by a name that's easier for the public to understand, because a lot of people who understand, like, people don't understand what coin joining means. They're not going to know that that's inherently privacy, however you want to pronounce it. They're not going to know that. So calling it private send allows end users to literally know straight away, okay, well, that's what this is for. This is so that people don't know what I'm sending. I think it's the better way of doing it. So anyway, he had it parameterized so that you could easily change that. It's literally one word you'd have to change. You'd have to change this CoinJoin here into private send or whatever you want to change it to. And someone makes a suggestion about that in a moment. Specifically voting yes on this proposal would mean the devs update that one line of code so that CoinJoin is replaced with private send. Further, as an ongoing effort, references on dash.org website and subdomains, including our wallet documentation, will change from CoinJoin to private send. That is all. Vote no for no change. Now, another reason why they should change it to private send is because, in all reality, there's a strong chance that Dash doesn't stick with CoinJoin. There's a strong chance when they decide that they do want stronger privacy or they do want to keep going with privacy that they abandon the CoinJoin technology. I'm speculating, of course, but, and I know a lot of Dash guys don't like when I say this, and they'll say, oh, what have you got to back it up? I think it's irrelevant. I think the main point is, I don't think people take CoinJoin seriously as a privacy protocol. Now, whether that's right or wrong, I think we can argue about until the cows come home. But what I would say is that even if you do take CoinJoin seriously, if you just call it private send, at least you don't have to endure this argument that I constantly put forward or other people constantly put forward to say that, mixing up coins is not, or privacy by obfuscation is not optimal. But that's only a small part of the argument. Anyway, I would agree that change into private send is a good idea. So those are the pros. The pros are like it's a nice name that encompasses privacy, which is what they're chasing, which over time will change. So the protocols that you use will change. They will inevitably they will develop, they will evolve over time, they will become better. You're going to be adding privacy to different elements of your transactions, the amount, the people that are sending it, the recipients, the senders, and having all of that under one name of private send is better than having it under CoinJoin, especially if in the future you decide to move from CoinJoin to something that's maybe a type of zero knowledge. We're not going to get into that, but those are the different types of privacy that you can have. So I think private send is good. Now, the only con I would say is that I'm not sure Dash can withstand being out and out a privacy coin. They might get a lot of people more support them because they've not ran away. Because amongst the other privacy coins, we all do kind of look at Dash as a little bit of a coward, I will say. We do look at Dash as a little bit of a coward. Like the fight against privacy coins did happen. A lot of the people who were involved in privacy coins did suffer. Their governments did take action subtly, or banks took action subtly against them, and that is a thing. And Dash didn't have the stomach for that. So there will be people within Firo, people within Pivx, people within Monero that will look at Dash and they will say, "You guys were cowards." And I think that this goes some way towards, especially in today's climate, goes some way towards them brushing off that stench. So then there was discussion, right? And this guy's left a massive wall of text, which I'm not going to go through now, but I agreed with. But there was one which I found quite interesting, a detractor, which I thought we could look at, and it was here we go. So someone else has said that the pullback from the privacy routes was a significant misstep. Someone actually mentioned us lot, the Pivx lot. Somebody actually mentioned the Pivx lot, and they said that here we go. So there's a guy called Bernardo. He's come in with all the smoke. His energy's all wrong. He's probably not had his breakfast or his Weetabix. His energy's coming all wrong. He's come in with insults and whatnot, and to top it all off, he's wrong. So yeah, Bernardo, you are donkey of the day, Bernardo. So what he's saying is that Dash can't survive more delistings from centralized exchanges. You can check the DEX volume. So what he's saying is that it's not being used on DEXs. I guess that's some sort of sign to say it will never be used on DEXs, because I guess if you check the DEX volume on Ethereum in, I don't know, 2017, you wouldn't have seen much. So I don't understand the logic there. Everything is moving towards DEXs. DEX volumes are increasing. That's just a fact. So I don't understand the logic of what he's saying here. I'm sure someone like you believes our project is able to survive on OTC trading only. LOL. You're not going to get delisted from every single exchange, even if the Americans dislike you because you call yourself a privacy coin. Monero hasn't been delisted from every single exchange. Monero is surviving fine. Stop being a coward. Now keep shilling for the suicide of this project, coward, for a stupid crap feature used by 2% of the users. You brain amputated moron. Okay. So I didn't downvote this. Here's the thing. I should downvote it just because of the insults. I'm going to downvote it just because of the insults. I generally don't like to downvote things that I disagree with. I feel that if it's adding to the conversation, you should upvote it, even if you disagree with it, because you need to discuss, right? So I'm very big on upvoting comments that I disagree with. I think you are the moron. The users that desire privacy coins are not the 2%, and that their number is huge. I think this guy's right. I think also it's not really about what you desire. It's about what just should be there. Like privacy, it just should be there. Whether or not people know that they need it, it just should be there. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you ask a child if they want to go to school, they might be like, "No, I don't want to go to school." But you should go to school because you need to learn. You need to learn how to read. Well, that's about it. After you can read and write, you don't need to go to school anymore. Anyway, I digress. The proposal owner was going to say I was going to call you the same thing, and this is when it just kind of descends. That it just descended because he's only really picked up on the insult. Yes, so this is what he's saying is all right. If you removed all trace of coin join and removed all functionality, the classification of cash privacy coin would not change. This is true because a lot of people don't respect Dash's privacy anyway, and you're still getting lumped as a privacy coin. When Dash changed, a lot of us migrated from Dash to Pivx. We kept on doing privacy. The biggest hurdle we had to get it listed on other exchanges did not come from the fact that it was a privacy coin. It came from the fact that there were parts or people within Dash who didn't want to see a fork of Dash succeed. So being a privacy coin didn't slow us down as much as it slowed Dash down. Being a fork of Dash slowed us down more. So this guy's absolutely right. The surgeon's absolutely right. Being a privacy coin slows you down a little bit, but not much. Not much at all. You must really live under a rock or the dark side of the moon. It's actually happened in 2016, 2017. Have you noticed the privacy-focused crowd has already left and abandoned Dash long ago? That's almost true. It's actually happened in 2016, 2017. That's almost true. That's actually true, to be fair to him. Even if we would force anonymity by default on all transactions, not even $5 would even get invested in Dash by the privacy crowd. They have long moved onto Monero, Zcash, Pirate Chain, etc. Why did you not say Pivx when that's where most of us went? Hater. Okay, but guess what? 90% of people do not care about any of this privacy crap. You spread absolute lies. The delisters will only come because we keep this mixing crap. Why don't you, Genius, explain us where our trading volume will come from, given the fact we have 0% DEX volume? Effing explain it or shut up, because fools like yourself, Dash will hit $10 long before Monero will hit 50. Yeah, I just think you're wrong. I just think you're wrong. So I replied and I said, hi, I left in 2016 because of the privacy U-turn. I'm back, just saying hi. So, and there's plenty of people like me who we didn't become tribal about it. We just realized that Dash weren't doing privacy. We thought privacy was important. I left because of the governance. Personally, I left because you got a DAO. You should have used the DAO. Ryan Taylor didn't use the DAO. He made the decision because he was scared. And it was a knee-jerk reaction, and he didn't use the DAO to do it. And that's why I left, because I was like, what's the point in having this DAO if you're not going to use it? So I left. I still mostly believe in the DAO aspect of things, which is why I do DAO Watch. But the people who did leave actually taught me why privacy is important, and I still like Dash. I still like the governance. I still like the way it works. I still like the masternodes. I still like all those things. So a lot of us aren't one issue voters. So we don't pick we don't pick one coin based on one thing. A lot of us now are trying to cross-pollinate. We're trying to move around. I want to write a blog post about this soon, but I feel like you shouldn't stay with one project for longer than 2 years. Stay for 2 years, then you have to move somewhere else, and everybody just cross-pollinate so that you know something else about some other projects. I'm not sure how long this guy's... I don't understand why he's so angry, to be honest with you. If he's been there since 2016, 2017, I really don't understand why he's so angry. But LDE, I suppose. You are weak and subservient. What are you even doing in crypto? And that's how we're going to wrap this one up. So for me, this one is a definite yes. I like this proposal. I like this guy's energy. I wish they had more of it in 2016. They didn't, but it's good to see it now, and it's never too late. And I love that the people in Dash Incubator are looking at privacy. There's no proposals to fund further research, even if it's to fund research into them using other Bitcoin-based models that they could adopt, like Fero's privacy. There is no discussion around that yet, but I think it's only a matter of time. I'm thinking out loud now, so bear with me, but I do think it's only a matter of time before these guys look at both Firo and Pivx, and they look at the privacy that is incorporated in those two projects, and they say, can we have it over here? Can we really go for it? And I think that would be great. I think Dash losing privacy and the way they lost it was their biggest mistake. Second biggest mistake to how they handled evolution, because that was a real, but that's two huge mistakes. Anyway, that was a short proposal that should have been short, that turned long. So we're going to turn this, what should be a long proposal, into a short one. And this is the proposal for Whitebit from Jeffrey on Pivx. So Jeffrey is back again. It seems like I'm only doing Jeffrey's proposals. I chose this one because I've been so critical of Jeffrey in the past, and I feel like I shouldn't always only show someone's bad proposal, especially if I show more than one of theirs. So I've shown two what I think are bad proposals, so I'm going to show one that's a good one. So basically what this is that Jeffrey wants to take 30,000 PIV, which is, I don't know, about $6,000. $6,000? Well, he's saying 5,500, but I think Pivx has jumped up since then. So let's say $6,000 to have a trading competition on Whitebit. Whitebit is a very rapidly growing exchange. I think it'll probably rival KuCoin in the next year or two. Next bull run. Rival KuCoin size now, because KuCoin's gonna fly away. Bybit, KuCoin, Binance. Those will be the big three, I think. Especially if the Americans get their way. Those will be the big three. And then, these other ones, Whitebit, Gate.io, all these other ones will be the second tier. Not financial advice, just a wild speculation. But anyway, so what I'm saying is it's quite a big exchange. A nice trading competition on this exchange is a very good idea, and the amount that's going out is not earth-shattering, but I feel like it's enough for people to have a look and have a little go with Pivx and, maybe start trading it. First step is they start trading it. Next step is they start looking to see the fundamentals. The third step is they really get into the project and they get sucked into the little privacy wormhole. That's the idea. Benefits of this proposal: attract new investors, inform the Whitebit exchange community about Pivx, gain additional volume and liquidity, additional marketing material for Pivx, build our relationship with the Whitebit exchange. I think all of these are really, 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 really good things. They're all good. I have said before about the exchange volume and how much of it is wash trading. Whitebit, I think, does quite a bit of wash trading, but I'm quite certain that they are a decent sized community, and they have a decent size of actual trading going on. There's no comments on this because it doesn't seem to have much controversy around it. The amount is too low for people to get their knickers in a twist, and Jeffrey, we know he's a proposer who's gathering momentum, a proposer who is known to the community, so there's no worries about his integrity or his trust. His judgment, well, I constantly question Jeffrey's judgment, but I think he's got it right on this occasion. I think he often gets it right, and I generally don't make videos about it when he does, so this is me making one where he does. For me, I can't think of any obvious drawbacks to doing this. I think it's a good price, a good exchange, good activity, should foster some engagement, especially outside of the US, where most of these users are from. And yeah, I'm going to vote yes. So it's a yes from me, and that's possibly the shortest ever proposal I've looked over. So let's move on. Evmos are back in business. Okay, it's been a while, but they finally got a proposal. It's been almost a month since their last proposal. It's been like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months since they had a proposal from somebody outside of the core group, and they knocked it back, and they've got another one, and guess what they're doing? They're knocking it back. However, I know that the Evmos DAO team will watch this and feel vindicated. They will say, you see, Cryptosi, we told you, you egghead. The reason why we put all the proposals forward is because we make good proposals. The rest of these guys, they make proposals with quite obvious drawbacks. Now, this proposal is beautiful. It's well written. It's a work of art. It's almost I won't call it a Ferrari. It's a BMW. We'll call it's a BMW 3 Series, Yeah, actually, it's definitely a 3 Series because it's overpriced. So what these guys want to do is they want to build a decentralized derivatives exchange on Evmos. The team has got Patrick, who was formerly at Steppen, Linus, who was from Wiredcraft, Richard, who worked at Amazon, Shin, who worked at Meta, and Aaron. So what we're saying is that these guys, I guess they know what they're doing, is what they're claiming. There was obviously discussion on the Commonwealth. I'm not going to look at it because it's the world's worst forums. So slow. Let's see what let me talk about it first and we'll look at the discussions on the Commonwealth. Summary, they're going to build an exchange, like I said, and it's going to be for derivatives, and it's going to have its own token. Now, it's going to be called the View Exchange, and the max supply is going to be determined, but the initial supply, which will be 10% of the max supply, will be airdropped. So it'll be airdropped to, it says here, it'll be airdropped to people who have voted, I believe, who have voted on this proposal, whether you voted yes, no, or abstain. And 5% of the tokens will be airdropped as incentives for protocol users on social task engagement platforms such as Galaxy, Zeely, Rabbit Hole. Okay, so 5% is pretty much a giveaway, and 5% is going to be airdropped to people who vote on this. So basically, Evmos stakers. Token utility, you'll be able to vote. So the protocol is governed by upgraded by the holders and delegators. 50% for liquidity providers and LP tokens, 30% dedicated to VE buyback and burn. That doesn't make a lot of sense. You can't hold the VE to dedicate it towards buying it back. So that makes absolutely no sense at all. So I don't understand. Maybe that's a typo. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. If you know what that means, put it in the comments, and put it in the comments now. Don't wait till the end of the video, because you'll forget. I know what you're like. 20% to core contributors funds. Now this is what I've got a problem with. This is the straw that broke the camel's back for me, because I was with them until here. No, I wasn't. I wasn't with them until here. But this is the straw that broke the camel's back. I was already against them. So, bloody blah, milestones, this, that, and the other. And I love all of this because it's brilliant. And they're telling you how long it's going to take them to do it, the time frame of each thing. So you're looking at roughly about 6 months for everything to be done from concept to mainnet. Bonus milestone, Kepler integration, an on-ramp and a third-party bridge. Those things will be done automatically. Having an on-ramp for Evmos, I think, is a pretty massive deal. I think it's something that Forge really needs, because the problem with Evmos is that you've got to move your money from Cosmos, and then you've got to bridge it, and all of that is not, the user experience for that is horrific. It's really not nice. It's very bad. It's up there with Polkadot in being the worst, one of the worst user experiences within crypto. It's not nice at all. So I think having an on-ramp would be wonderful. I think it opens the doors of Evmos to a much wider audience and people who are not so experienced within crypto. And I think that's exactly what Evmos need, especially if you're going to have a derivatives exchange. Have it so that regular finance guys who would have usually been chasing after Solana and the pretty wonderful user experience they had there, and Ethereum obviously, and bringing them over to Evmos. And I think that would be a pretty big deal. I think they've undersold this part. funding amount. Okay, so they want $150,000. That's a lot of money. $150,000 for them to build this exchange. They haven't said what they'll be forking. So for that much money, I'm assuming they're doing everything from scratch. However, they're saying that it's going to take them a month to a month and a half. There is no time here. Oh, here we go. Seeking audit. Send us to get audited. Invoice for the audit will be presented to the community. So you see, all right. So what they're saying is $150,000. Then they're going to get it audited. What should we say? Another 100,000, give or take, depending on who's auditing it. So they're not going to. I'm assuming they're not going to fork something else. If they do and they get audited, it should be a lot cheaper. So far we're at $250,000 for this derivatives exchange. And then they're taking 20% of the tokens. That's wild. It's wild. It's far too expensive to fund the project. Should the value of Evmos price decline, we commit to not seeking further funding in Evmos to match the fiat value. Well, because you won't get any more. You already asked for too much. Funded usage breakdown. 60% exchange development. Add more people to the team. Develop perpetual UI, front end, back end, smart contract testing, infrastructure costs. So they are saying by back end and smart contracts, they are saying that they're going to develop essentially from scratch. Not really. They're not really saying that actually, but they're suggesting that marketing, campaigns, community management, competition, ads, press release, etc. 20% audit before launching on. We will get so there's a conflict. There's a conflict here. They're saying that they're going to use their funds to audit, but then they're saying they'll present the invoice to the community. Well, maybe they're just saying they'll show us how much it costs. But that's a pretty bad conflict there. That needs to be clearer. Initial liquidity for the exchange, 7%. The audit invoice will be presented to the multi-sig members before they release funds. If actual audit costs are less than the estimated amount, the multi-sig can return unused funds to the community for. So it is actually cleared up. So there won't be extra funds for the audit. The audit will be taken out of the 150,000, 20% for the audit. So they're saying $30,000 for an audit of a brand new thing. I guess there's no cryptography involved, so all they're auditing is smart contracts. Yeah, maybe they get it done for that. They must feel they can, otherwise they wouldn't say it. So, okay, if they feel they can, yes. And then they've got here who are the validators. Dev D, Silent, Interblock, Aaron from View Exchange, blah, blah, blah. Okay, pros and cons. Pros are that I love this. I super love that this is being put forward by people who are not from the core DAO. I super love that. I love to see outsiders come in. It's another good use case. It's something that doesn't yet exist on Evmos, and it's something that people will definitely use. It really fits in with what is happening in Cosmos at the moment with a lot of this DeFi. There is really a DeFi renaissance in Cosmos. Stride, Umi, lending, all of these things are really starting to take shape. So a derivatives exchange it really complements all of those other things. A fiat on-ramp, beautiful, wonderful, exactly what's needed. The team seems to have a lot of experience. Well, on paper they do. I like it, right? I really like it. I really like the proposal. However, the negatives are massive. Now, the first one is that it's a derivatives exchange. Now, we've recently seen with the Uki DAO situation that just because you are a DAO doesn't mean that you can just launch your own derivatives exchange. Now the Americans are going for people. They're not going for DAO members, but they are going for founders. I'm not sure how up to date these guys are. I wouldn't be putting my name there as a team member or a founder or anything like that. It doesn't say anything here about them registering, if they can register. There's not saying anything about them setting up this this project as a legal entity anywhere in the world. Doesn't say that anywhere. So the legal ramifications, I would say, are a bit of a worry, because these guys are somewhat doxed, and you wouldn't want them to go and get pulled to one side and then the project is finished. And finally, the main issue I've got is the fee. And the fee, in light of them having the 20% tokens on top, I think that you're going to have 20% with split between these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, I guess. Initially, I think that's too much. On top of the fact that they're not paying for it at all, like they are being paid for it. So I don't think they should get 20% of these fees as well. It's just too much money. 20% of these fees, 20% of these tokens as well. I think it's too much money. The audit, I think it would have been good if they'd have said who they plan to get audited by, and given us reassurances that they can get audited within the budget that they've set. They feel like it might come in less than that. They haven't said what they're going to fork. If they're going to fork something, does look like they're going to create it from scratch. I'm speculating. So from me, this one's going to be a no, and it's a no just based on those two small drawbacks, being the price and the legal ramifications. For those reasons, I'm going to say no. This does actually is worth a mention that it would be nice if, when people did vote, they could say why they voted a certain way. I think that would be interesting. And if you could see that here, within the no's, if you could see why. You can on some of the others, when the validators vote, you can see some of the other Cosmos chains, when the validators vote, they can put a reason. Okay, let's get going. We're on to our last proposal. We didn't quite look at should we look at this first and see what people, I assume the View Exchange is going to be a fork. This was a question that I had. The basic AMA will be a fork of Uni v3, but we will add some more features. Okay, so they're going to Launchpad, especially Perpetual, need to be developed independently, and the development difficulty is also relatively high. So the Perpetuals. Right, so they're going to have Uni v3 with Perpetuals added on. Okay, well, there's already a Uni v3 on Evmos with the Perpetuals. So effectively what they're saying is they're going to make it from scratch. Then the basic trading part of it will be Uni v3, then they're going to do the Perpetual from scratch. Yes and no. As long as you voted, you get a piece of the airdrop. I don't think that matters because it's not going to pass. Perpetual trading, you copied much from Apollo X Finance Git book. At first glance, seems to me like a low-effort endeavor to grab free Evmos from the big community pool and sell a multifaceted project without any key focus. Don't see why the derivatives exchange would need a launchpad, aka scam pad. Leave it out. But I'm with you on the first part. Also, you asked for 375k Evmos just for passing this proposal. Meanwhile, we have builders like Orbital Apes that launched the Uni v3 AMM Forge for 200k Evmos in total, and don't even capitalize on a DEX token since it's community owned. Yeah, so this guy's saying the same thing as me. Well done, Nick. A big amount, yes it is. Free is a misused term. Dedicating our devs resources, no, yeah, but you're getting paid. I did emphasize derivatives core feature. Yes, we get that. Derivatives is a gap on Evmos ecosystem. Yes, I agree. We want to take ownership of this task and hopefully bring more on-chain activity. Fair enough. Many AMM also has IO business. These are not a conflict. Project launching after IO finished and adding liquidity to the AMM and then start trading. Yes, this is also true. But if community do not think a launchpad or AMM is needed, we can just adjust our proposal accordingly. I like a launchpad, but I think a launchpad should be a separate project. But I like a launchpad. If there's going to be a launchpad, I didn't see that in the proposal, but I like that. Okay, I'm bored now. So yeah, for me it's a no, and I've already said why. Let's move on. Friends with benefits. This is the last proposal we're going to look at. I spoke about it at the top of the show, and this one is for the DAO to have a legal wrapper. The reason why I picked this one is not only because it's one of very few proposals which is actually active at the moment. Seems everything's kind of quiet in the DAO space, but it really resonates with a lot of the things that I've been looking into recently, and something that we touched on in the last episode, which is the legal status of a DAO. Who is on the hook if the DAO misbehaves, and what a DAO should do so that it can interact with legacy systems, legacy finance, getting bank accounts, etc., etc. And what a DAO really needs is a legal wrapper. Now, that's what Friends with Benefits DAO is going after. Excuse me. And it's being done by this particular guy, freeparticle.eth. So what they want to do is form an unincorporated non-profit organization, UNA, around the DAO with the purpose of gaining a legal existence, payment of taxes, limitation of liability for members while maintaining member anonymity for members who do not receive compensation from the DAO. What that means is that now if the DAO gives you compensation, I guess you're going to have to dox yourself. Not entirely clear, but that's what I'm reading from that. What I'm extrapolating from that sentence. The proposal will be live, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I guess we've covered the crux of it. They are asking if people want them to have this legal wrapper for it to be managed by these two people. If we click here, we can actually see it. The actual, I guess, proposal in PDF format. And it's saying that these two gentlemen will look after the DAO. They will register it. David Kerr and Kyle Wandler. They will register the DAO, and they will be responsible for obtaining the EIN, and they get legal tax guidance, pay the taxes, be a registered agent, mail forwarding, signing a lease, obtaining a bank account. Membership disclosure, Article 1, Article 2, and all this other legal mumbo jumbo. But it's all there, and I love that they've linked to it. I think that's very important. And there was a FAQ, which they've also shared. Okay, so pros and cons, I like it. I really think that it's good when DAOs formulate somewhere so that they can interact with the real world. I do kind of feel that if possible, DAOs should become a legal entity in multiple jurisdictions. If that is possible, I don't know if it is possible, but I do feel they should become a legal entity in multiple jurisdictions so they can jurisdiction shop depending on what it is they want to do. And they can say, oh, well, we're allowed to do it because we were allowed to do it over there. I believe companies do things like that, where they have a arm for this or a holding company for that. So I guess DAOs and sub-DAOs or whatever. Who knows? But at the moment, the Friends with Benefit DAO does not have a sub-DAO. I don't think they've not reached the formulation of sub-DAOs. What would happen if I was in charge here is I would probably have a sub-DAO and then have the sub-DAO have a legal wrapper, as opposed to trying to say that the whole DAO's got a legal wrapper. And here is why. The con, which is the biggest con, the biggest drawback to this proposal is that they are planning to become a DAO under the US. I think it's Wyoming. I looked at this earlier. I can't see it here, but from memory, it's Wyoming. So they want to register according to Wyoming's laws. Wyoming is probably the most forward-thinking state of the United States. It's not really a sweeping endorsement of Wyoming. It just means that you're the least barbaric. You're the least barbaric. The least barbaric area in a nation of barbarism, which is fast what the US is becoming. are very, very hostile towards crypto, and thus I have got a real problem, even though it's Wyoming, which I must admit is very forward thinking and very pro crypto. Even though it's within Wyoming, I don't like the fact that they are setting up within the United States at all. I feel that it's a DAO, should be a worldwide DAO, should be, well, it is a worldwide DAO. They do have members from all over the world. It just so happens that I guess the key members, and maybe possibly the majority of the members, are based in the United States, and they struggle to see past the tyranny that they're living under, and they often try to find a way to shoehorn themselves into it. Wyoming obviously won't make them shoehorn as much. They do have crypto legislation, but I feel like they should have sub-DAOs, and they should allow the sub-DAOs to register in different jurisdictions so that they can jurisdiction shop, and so that the DAO has a little bit more freedom rather than tying themselves to a tyrannical regime. Rant over. I feel like I have this rant every episode now. Right, so for me, that one, and on that alone, if I could vote, I don't have any FWB tokens, full disclosure. If I could vote, I would vote no. No one agrees with me. I don't know why. I think most people just see the fact that having a legal wrapper, and they're just looking at the benefits of it. They're not really as worried about the Americans and their tyranny as I am. I think maybe I'm a little bit overly touchy on that subject. Privacy, coin fatigue, maybe. But I would vote no. If I could vote, no one else agrees with me, and they are voting yes. I do think it's a great proposal. It's well put together. It's good that they are incorporated. I think that's a great idea. It's even okay that they're incorporating in the United States, but I think that should be maybe the 4th or 5th place that they incorporate. They should have come to Europe probably first, or I don't know, like the Marshall Islands or any other place where they're going to allow you to be somewhat free, providing you give them their ransom. And that, my friends, is that. Thank you very much for watching. We've wrapped up much quicker than we usually do. Let me do my little conclusions. Please make sure you like and subscribe, because my subscriber count is slowly creeping up. Every time I get a new subscriber, I do a little dance. So if you do subscribe, be safe in the knowledge that you've made this old man dance. Great episode, Dash. I love that they're picking up the fight, and they are no longer the cowards of the industry. Pivx, finally, the episode should be called DAO Redemptions, because people are redeeming themselves. In fact, that's what it's going to be called. Pivx, finally, Jeffrey's redeemed himself, and he's come through with a proposal that's not a waste of everybody's money, and he's not pulling people's pants down. So well done on that one, Jeffrey. Evmos finally have got a proposal that's not from the core DAO. Unfortunately, it's way too expensive. But finally, Evmos have got a proposal that's not from the core DAO, so well done to them. Redemption. And Friends with Benefits. Amazing proposal. Glad to see that you're taking your legal status seriously and being proactive about it. Unfortunately, you're starting in the United States, which I think is a bad idea. You're not using sub-DAOs, which I feel like you probably could at this stage. If you gave it a bit more thought, I think that would be probably a better way to do it. Have some admin sub-DAOs, a Friends with Benefits US sub-DAO, Friends with Benefits Europe sub-DAO, Friends with Benefits such and such sub-DAO. And then whatever activity you wanted to do would go through whichever sub-DAO had the jurisdiction that you wanted to use, and whoever could interact with it could interact with it. And then the top DAO, the parent DAO, which is the Friends with Benefit DAO, then controls all of the other sub-DAOs. And that would be a better way to set up your legal wrapper. And the fact that you've gone with just the legal wrapper being the main DAO, first of all, kind of limits you. You now can't do the other things if this one goes through. I might put this on there. In fact, I will. I'm going to post this on their forum. I have to sign up. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Once again, like, subscribe, and share. And enjoy your weekends. This comes out on a Friday night. Peace.